This episode of the Very Serious Crafts podcast is brought to you by the Embroiderers Guild of America.
You're listening to the Very Serious Crafts podcast.
We're very serious crafters.
And we craft very serious crafts.
Very serious.
Hello, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 9 of the Very Serious Crafts podcast. I'm Heidi from Hands Occupied.
I'm Mollie from Wild Olive.
And I'm Haley from Red Handled Scissors. Today we'll be talking about letterboxing, fibbing knitters, and the points where crafting and gardening meet.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, recently, you guys, I've been doing a lot of crafting for fun for the first time in, since coronavirus started.
I'm shocked.
Okay.
Yeah.
What even is that?
I don't know. It's a familiar yet unfamiliar feeling.
Yes.
But I'm excited that I'm in some kind of version of normal again. Sort of.
That's awesome.
Normal, sort of. I like that.
Yeah,
normal-ish. I feel like that's fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm taking the win.
As you should.
Mm-hmm.
It is
As you should.
How about you?
Well, I have been crafting just for myself. It's been very nice to have that going. I'm doing that as we speak right now. I have the crochet out and crochet. I said that so weird.
Crochet.
The crochet.
You already have a kind of notorious pronunciation of the word embroidery.
Do I?
You say
really?
Yeah, embroidery.
Embroidery.
It's like an old timey thing. My friend Matt even has said, "Is she the one who says embroidery weird?" to me.
I have never noticed that. Say the word, Mollie. Say the word.
Wow. Wow.
I can't.
Well, if we're going there,
yeah,
I've always heard it worsted weight. What do you say? You say worsted.
Yeah, I say
that too, but my grandma said worsted.
Yeah, I think I got worsted probably from my grandma.
Yeah.
Anyway, embroidery.
You have to
embroidery.
You have to make your R's extra American and extra hard.
Wait, I say
Worsted.
embroidery.
Worsted.
I think I do a between. There's an apostrophe in mine.
I think there's an apostrophe in embroidery when Mollie says it.
Probably.
It's very charming.
Well, thank you. Now I'm going to be super conscious. I'm glad I'm not talking about that at all today.
Sorry.
No, I think I say it the way Mollie says it.
And you guys actually do it for real, unlike me.
I say embroidery.
Embroidery. Yeah, I don't know. I've never thought about it.
Like
now that's all I
floss.
can think about.
Sorry, I just ruined the whole podcast.
Oh my goodness. I love that we went down that rabbit hole because, I do the exact same thing that Mollie does.
Yeah. Huh.
Ye old embroidery.
Listeners, please weigh in.
Yes.
Tell us via social media how you say this, or leave a comment or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like there are so many things that we should have people weigh in on with recordings.
Yeah.
But you were talking about crochet.
Crochet, yeah. That's not actually what I was even going to talk about. I was going to talk about something that I saw on Instagram that I sent in to you guys, and I just have to mention it here. Not even just for you. Listeners need to know about the giant yarn ball cat bed that I encountered. A whole series of photos that someone was so proud to make for their cat. It's really, really adorable. It even has giant knitting needles stuck into the sides. But
that makes me so nervous.
Yeah. and it's a whole series of look what I made, and my cat loves it, and then the cat just wrecks the whole thing. And
lays on top of it.
On top of it, which is exactly what a cat would do.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was doomed from the beginning, I think. But anyway, that's all I wanted to mention. I'll put a link to it in the show notes, but this is just...
It's pretty adorable.
Yeah.
It's pretty adorable.
Like the whole thing.
Actual lol territory.
Yes, anyway.
As they say.
Indeed.
That's it with my crochet and embroidery.
Sorry, Mollie.
Oh no.
What you got, Haley?
I have a complaint.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
On the very last stitch of the secret project that I've been working on for the past 2 weeks, I stabbed my finger with a blunt cross-stitch needle, and it bled.
No.
No, thank you.
And it happened to be my thumb. I don't have any idea how I stabbed my thumb on the opposite hand.
You were just so ready to be done, obviously.
And then I was holding the project with that thumb and did not know it was bleeding.
Oh.
It was fine. Like, it was a very immediate, it was about to be soaked and put in a wash tub, and like it didn't soak in very far because of the, do you call it sizing that stiffens Ada cloth?
I would assume that's still.
Speaking of words that people pronounce
Yes.
37 different ways.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
crafts.
the sizing saved me. And it was
Good.
it was a tiny, tiny drop. It was like, it was a pinprick.
Yeah.
But still.
Ouch.
It's like really on the last stitch.
That's the way it goes, man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That sucks, though.
So yeah,
stinks.
I would
Sorry.
just like to lodge a complaint with whomever is in charge of crafts broadly.
Yes.
Crafting
I
outcomes.
need to talk to whoever that person is, like, in general, on a daily basis.
So like
Right.
you want to speak with the manager of crafts? Is that what we're talking about now?
Oh my gosh, I'm a Karen.
Apologies to all Karens out there. We actually like you.
It's
We're
true.
sorry your name has become synonymous with
Yes.
wanting to speak
We
with the
like
manager.
you. We don't necessarily like the stereotype
yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
But yes, I would like to speak to its manager.
All right.
Does that mean I have to get a haircut?
Does it mean you have to leave the house?
Oh dear.
Also a relevant
that ain't
question.
happening.
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
anyway, so that's that.
That's that.
Well, before we jump into talking, we want to give a shout out to a new serious friend of the Very Serious Crafts podcast, who is now supporting us at patreon.com/seriouscrafts. Many thanks to the marvelous, magnificent Melissa. You're the best.
Huzzah!
Thank you.
Marvelous and magnificent.
Yeah, I gotta add that alliteration.
I can only think of words that start with mal, and those are never good words.
No, marvelous, Melissa.
Marvelous is good.
Magical.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
All right. Anyway.
Maker probably
Yeah.
applies.
Yeah.
Marvelous, magical maker Melissa.
Yes.
So, let's get into this.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, I posted 2 Instagram stories, like you do during the pandemic, because there's nothing else to do. I realized, based on the really strong reaction to what I posted, that there is quite a bit of crossover between gardeners and crafters.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then when I've talked a little bit about gardening on the podcast, because before recent weeks, I haven't really had the mojo for crafting. So there's context for everybody who's missed an episode or 2. So, like I was saying, it's not totally surprising that there's overlap between gardening and crafty people, because they're kind of sister arts, so to speak.
Yep.
And lately, even though I've started knitting again, the gardening obsession continues, because it's spring, and that's always what I want to do in spring. Excuse me, other than just sewing.
Yeah.
Right.
Specifically, the reason I'm bringing up gardening again, though, on a crafting podcast is it did not occur to me before a few weeks ago that one can make topiaries very easily indoor out of just houseplants.
Yes.
A lot of people, and then I posted about it, and I got a lot of DMs again from people being like, I had no idea you could do this. So I thought I would let more people know on this podcast that yes, you can make topiaries out of your pothos, or your English ivy, or your lavender, or your rosemary.
Or your Monstera Addisoni. I don't even know how you're supposed to say that.
So just a
I
heads
did
up.
actually recently.
I mean, some
Make
of those that would like ivy. Yes, I would. That doesn't surprise. The lavender, I don't think I've ever seen lavender topiary before.
You can do, I've seen people do, so there's like 4 different main categories of topiaries.
Oh, boy.
Like types of them.
Okay.
I had no idea.
And so a prune topiary, I think you see these more in Southern home decor. At least I've seen them on Southern home decor blogs and in my sister-in-law's house in Arkansas.
Sure.
And so they're like a perfectly spherical topiary, usually on a long skinny like tree trunk. And
Sure.
so, and often because it's a houseplant, it's like a rosemary or a lavender or a jade. And so much like you would make a topiary outdoors, you just prune it as you go. So you're manicuring it into a topiary shape.
Huh.
Sure.
Again, wouldn't have thought to do that with lavender.
Yeah, and
No,
I really
me
want to do it
neither.
with lavender because I love lavender, and I'm curious to know how it would survive. I can't remember if lavender is used for the spherical balls, but I'll put it in the show notes, all the stuff I'm bringing up. But anyway, so in an effort to not ramble on forever, the other types are like hollow topiaries, and so that's when you give yourself some kind of frame or structure to grow your plant onto.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what I've got.
And that one I think is more common. And what I'm doing for my first topiary is using my English ivy that was getting like, it had like 4 long vines. And I was like, this just looks kind of dumpy in this pot. And I would like a little more height, but I don't want to just like, I don't know, shove a dowel in there and twist tie it and call it a day. Because that doesn't look very compelling.
Sure.
And
Oh, they make pretty ones.
but the idea that I'm liking is making it myself. Because I can it's almost like a growing craft project. So for my English ivy, I just braided it into a ring, and I've used twist ties and like grilling skewers to get the shape to work. So I didn't have to order any special supplies.
Cool.
And I also, for the pothos that I think I want to do a topiary with next, I've just cut off a bunch of leaves so I can propagate them, so I can grow some more long strands of plant to eventually braid or otherwise work into a shape.
Would you like me to send you some strands?
No, I have a lot. They keep growing, they multiply.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's
so
what I'm saying.
the other two things I just wanted to mention for the crafter / gardener overlap people in the room with me. Stuffed topiaries are another one I want to try. So you have like a frame of something, but your growing medium is what you grow your thing into. So picture so with the English ivy, it's just an open braided wreath like a flower crown, except it has roots. But for the stuffed version, you might have like a wreath form that's made out of like moss or something that's stuffed somehow with soil, and you can grow like succulents directly on it. And so that's really cool too.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah. So it's not like you don't have to be a master gardener to do it. You basically just have to like pay regular attention to it and manicure it like a bonsai tree or even like a fairy garden. And it's really fun. And I think it's an affordable and appropriately time-consuming, distracting like side hobby.
Well, and it really does have a craft element to it, which is fun and it just becomes a new medium. Also, I've never thought about braiding plants before. And I've been recently working on some friendship bracelet projects, and now all I can think about is like making a plant friendship bracelet.
That's really cute.
That would be really fun, actually.
I want to, when I worked on the topiary, I kept thinking about how much I used to love trying to make dandelion flower crowns every time I watched Alice in Wonderland.
Yep.
She does that in the movie. And I feel like there could be some fun potential for like incorporating weaving into like living plants. So that might be like some crazy thing I do someday.
That would be very cool. That would be very cool.
But the key is that they can dry out because you're manipulating the stems.
Sure. Okay.
And so that's like the big thing is like just make sure you don't let them dry out because they'll die.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't want to kill your project.
That's my topiary evangelizing for the day. Let me know if you have any questions, y'all. I have lots of links for the show notes.
I love it. I love it. That excites me very much.
That actually was one of the, I don't know how to say it. It's a Japanese word. Kokedama is the ball, like sphagnum moss ball that hangs that you can plant other plants out of.
Mm-hmm.
And it was by far one of the most popular tutorials when I was an editor at Craft.
Oh, yeah. I bet.
And it just made me think about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe because gardening's trending so much, just all plant related hobbies are just going to continue to go up, especially as people are home.
I mean, so many people are having gardens that have never had gardens,
Yeah.
like building garden boxes and raised gardens and stuff. I'm just seeing it all over.
Yeah.
I think it's lovely.
Succulents were already
too.
like a big trend before this. So
Oh, yeah.
it kind of seems like this would be the natural thing to follow it.
Yeah.
Natural.
Oh, and if you learn how to propagate plants, which is really easy if you've never done it, depending on the plant variety, they make terribly touching, like wholesome gifts, like for neighbors and stuff. That's what I like too. If I've got a succulent that I'm like, I already have 12 jades, I chuck it in a little Dixie cup, and people think it's so cool.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
It's true.
and it's a lot less
man.
work than like an actual craft project.
That's also true.
That's true.
It's kind of the project that makes itself.
Exactly. That's why gardening is great. It just keeps doing its own work. You just set it up for success and walk away.
Not really, though, is the problem. Although certain things like to be ignored. Like succulents. They would rather you not look at them, please. And I know because I'm an excellent grower of succulents. I have millions of them. Not really, but hundreds, possibly.
Yeah, succulents. Getting into succulents is not unlike taking on a new pet because they just keep going. Like, and there's more of them, and they change, and they have different needs.
Yeah, they're an adventure, and I have so many of them. I have so many that my husband and I have a split rotation of who's responsible for watering what area of plants. Yeah, it's a lot of control. Anyway, now that we've had plant hour,
Yes,
that's what I bring to the podcast during coronavirus, baby.
I love it.
I like it too.
Happy.
Okay, so going in a different direction that does not involve touching nature.
Nature.
What are we touching?
I
What
know.
are we touching now, Molly?
Yeah. No. So we have a Disney Plus subscription because family, Disney fans, all of that. Anyway, they have a new show that they added called The Big Fib. And it didn't really look like anything I wanted to watch necessarily, but in the promotion for it, I think like an email that I got from Disney Plus, they said that it included the idea of this show is two experts, and you have to determine which is the real expert and which is actually lying and they don't know what they're talking about. Well, the promotion said that it included knitting as one of the topics. And I was like, ooh, this is interesting. I'll have to check this out. So I jumped ahead to just the episode with knitting. I didn't watch through the show. And okay, spoiler alert, I was really disappointed by this show. It's definitely intended to be a kids show, which doesn't bother me necessarily. But it felt like a flashback to like 90s Nickelodeon game shows, but kind of upping the cheese factor. So I just wasn't really into it.
How could you up the cheese factor? I'm just thinking of Double Dare. Like,
right?
How is that possible? Speaking of which, Double Dare was so great, and I went to a showing once.
Cool.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. I had the home edition.
I was sad.
Oh man. Yeah. So anyway, so I watched this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the way that the show works is they have a short like warm-up fib thing, and then they've got the more extensive one where they're like interviewing, people and doing these lightning rounds and all that sort of thing. So the short version was the knitting one, and we had two knitters one of whom was a guy who they introduced as Luis, and then they had, and he had his knitting with him, and he was wearing his little knit sweater, and then they had the other expert who looked like a caricature of a grandma with like yarn all over the place, and she clearly wasn't a grandma. She was like my age, but with the bun hair and like the extra padding added to her and all of that. And I was immediately disappointed because you looked at her and knew that she wasn't going to be the expert. It was too obvious that was the caricature. So already I was disappointed. But
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah. But the fun thing about it, by the way, at the end of this, the kid who is guessing gets it right. He says that Luis must be the expert, and they are correct. It's Luis Boria, who is Brooklyn Boy Knits, and he tells a little bit about what he does, and of course he knit his sweater that he's wearing and so on. The kid who guessed it also knits, and I thought it was really it was cool that he was familiar with knitting and could identify that and so on.
Well, then he probably already knew who he was.
It's quite possible that he recognized him, which would be kind of funny, and that maybe they were not expecting on the show, or maybe they kind of knew and thought that would just be fun.
Lewis's whole, like, he did a whole advertising campaign last year with Lion Brand. I think it's still ongoing. He's like the PR spokesman for Hat Not Hate, and his whole deal is that he's a boy who knits, and it's about not bullying. So I have a hunch that was the pitch for that entire episode. Sorry to ruin TV magic. Yeah. It's all fake.
No, it absolutely makes sense that it would be
also,
that way.
That's great.
Yeah. Oh, I loved that part of it. Even though I was disappointed with how they put it together, like, oh, well, it was really obvious. It was still overall positive to show
and
to show it that way.
Lewis is like the nicest guy. He's really, really sweet.
Yeah, he seems fantastic. Obviously, I have not met him, but yeah. But what was kind of fun about the caricature is that she had she made references to the that knitting championship. We talked about it on a Half Stitched episode where they do like heavy metal music and knitting, and she has them play some heavy metal music, and she starts like kind of knitting like crazy, and she talks about like competing in this championship. So at one point I did think, have I made a mistake? And maybe she's just one of those crazy championship knitters that does that sort of thing. But no, she was just playing at it all. But it was kind of fun to have that reference in there. Anyway.
I feel like
maybe
nice.
They did do some research.
Oh, exactly. That's nice. I really, I feel like I was like, oh my God, screw this show. Until you said that the child doing the guessing was a boy who was just so excited to meet Lewis, because that's like what his whole like mission is, and that's really sweet.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was glad to see. I was glad to see knitting in a mostly positive light, because I know I've also talked, and maybe this was also on a Half Stitch, but talking about like how crafts show up in media. But generally knitting positive in the show, just not highly recommended as a show in general. That's my word on the big fib.
Fair enough. So, on a completely different note from television shows, because I've been working on a big project, and for me that involves a lot of preparation, it got me to thinking about just preparing for projects in general and how different people do it in different ways. And so like I am a very particularly organized person. Like I tend to have things set up in a very specific way. And so like when I'm getting ready to start a big project, I tend to do things like pre-cut embroidery floss and pre-thread needles and like basically do anything that will mean that if I have like 10 extra minutes that I can just pick up a project and start it.
Yeah. I know people who that's how they're like for hand quilting, they pre-thread all of their needles for that so that it's ready to go, which is not my way at all.
But for me, there's nothing more irritating than like being halfway through a line of stitches, like especially since I do a lot of cross stitch, being halfway through a line of stitches and like reaching the end of the floss and then like having that be the last strand of that color. And so then I have to unwind and then separate the strands and do all the things. And so as often as possible, I do that stuff ahead of time. So I tend to have like basic kits for the different kinds of projects that I do.
Right.
And this isn't a thing that works for everyone, but it really helps me get my brain organized for either starting big design projects or just starting a project that's for me. So like I have a zippered bag that has all of my like knitting and crochet necessities in it that I can drop in whatever drawstring project bag that I might have. And that really works for me. And having like boxes specifically set up with supplies for specific different kinds of crafts, I find to be really helpful for making the most of small parts of time, especially when working on a deadline as a designer, but it's also applicable for people who are just trying to find a little bit of time in their day to work on a project.
Yeah, that is when I do a big English paper piecing project. So that's like I just have launched my summer reading stitching club, and
which is so cool.
Thank you.
I love your stitching clubs.
Thank you. Although at times I have tried working on the different pieces one at a time. Like I'll work on, like I'll do like a week's worth or like a section of a quilt at a time. The thing that works better for me now, I've learned, is have all of my templates ready. Glue all of the templates, trim all of the fabric.
Yep.
Then do, so that the fabric and the templates are ready for me so that when I have time, I can sit down and baste a bunch of them.
Yeah, it's like lowering the barrier to entry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still have like some projects that are really big where I have not done that for the whole thing. Like my never-ending sprockets quilt is very much like, it's never ending. I have purposely not done that for that project because I wanted to be able to add in new fabrics along the way and like,
oh sure,
as I collect essentially new fabrics that they make their way into the quilt. So I've been intentional about that. And yet also I have pre-made many of the pieces so that they're ready to go when the next pieces come along. And so that has helped me with that. But then in other ways, I'm not that organized. So it really just, and sometimes it's not even organization. It's just like, I want to be able to just pick up the thing and do whatever and grab what's nearby and I can function that way.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And then other times, no. Other times I'm very prepared or I'm very like plot out the whole thing.
Yeah.
That
does tend to be my style. And it is specifically with the intent of not being stressed out about whether I have what I need.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's
And,
especially with crafts that have a lot of components to it, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, totally. I feel like the knitting or crochet end of this, like, because Molly, when you were talking about breaking down a really big project into workable chunks for planning purposes, I think some knitters and crocheters who live their life with a lot of works in progress.
Yeah.
I think they
Don't we
might.
all?
I think the knitting and crochet version of this might be just jockeying between projects and having to remember what notions you left in which bag.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about it from that perspective, I just remembered that there's this thing that exists. Well, everybody knows about the idea of using like a Altoid tin for putting your stitch markers and stuff if you're someone who is bringing stitch markers along with you. There's this thing that exists called the Knit Kit. They're not a sponsor or anything.
I love it.
I have
Yes.
found that a lot of people under 30 have never heard of the Knit Kit when I'm at like knit nights in the city. And I'm always like, seriously? Because this has a tape measure and scissors and everything in it. So like if you don't want to have to remember to put like to check off your checklist of stitch marker, scissor, ruler, that thing literally has it like built in with like fitted compartments for everything.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly that's definitely
That's
the things that I throw in a project.
Yeah.
bag.
Yeah, totally.
I
forgot about
without
those.
even thinking about it.
Mhm.
I think I got mine because you were talking about one on the podcast at some point.
I think that was
earlier in the podcast.
a long ways
Must
back.
have been.
yeah, I think it was the first season.
Yeah, knit kits, they're great.
They are.
Yeah. Yeah, my knitting prep is make sure I have all the yarn, knit a swatch.
Hey, as long as you say knit a swatch,
Yeah.
you're ahead of like a large percentage of people.
I mean, I still have a few projects that I don't do that with, but
Yeah.
that's because
And one other thing that I think is super helpful when preparing for a project, especially if it's going to be either something that is new to you, like a new skill, or something that is going to take a long time or be a much bigger project,
Mhm.
is instead of like thinking about the most ideal like floss color or fabric or whatever it might be, yarn color, to actually pull out your stash while you're planning the project and figuring out what you need, so you can look to see if you've got something that works. Like, do I really need this DMC yellow that is almost indistinguishable from the one that I already have, but that I would have to order?
Mhm.
No, I don't.
Yes,
So
that is especially true now when it's harder to just pop out to a store and buy what you need.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And that is a really good point. I think that's also maybe what got me thinking about preparation as well.
That makes sense.
Because
Yeah.
when I was working on the big project that I've been working on for the past couple of weeks, I said yes, and then realized that if I don't have what I need on hand right now, I'm not going to be able to get what I need in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, like, I live in New York City. Usually, like, I can get same-day Amazon if I need to.
Yeah.
Or I can pop down to any number of specialty craft stores on the subway, and it will be fine. But right now, that is simply not an option. And so, like, the pressure to have all the details planned out was much higher stakes right now when we're sheltering in place.
Yeah.
There's also something very soothing about taking the time to plan a larger project and doing the math so that you know you have everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I used to think that was like a designer-specific anxiety, and then I was like, especially now, no, that is a universal.
Yeah.
No,
solution.
it's really, really comforting to just be like, ah, yes, this is a thing within my control.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Well, that's pretty much it.
This episode of the Very Serious Crafts podcast is brought to you by the Embroiderers Guild of America. EGA is a community of stitch-minded people who inspire passion for the needle arts through education and the celebration of its heritage. Join today to become a member of the community, gain access to educational opportunities, projects, and more. Learn more at egausa.org. So, another craft that keeps catching my attention lately, and very intrepid listeners will recall that this was how I started talking about latch hook on the podcast during season 1. So yeah, there's this craft that keeps getting my attention, so that's a flag for me mentally on where what I'm going to be doing in the next few months. But anyway, I started playing with macrame a bit right before I started working on my book last around Christmas time, and had to kind of squash that flame after doing like a larger than life style macrame friendship bracelet inspired wall hanging.
Cool.
And it was so fun, and it was a lot like knitting where I could just only have my bag of yarn and just mindlessly work on it, and it sounds like the right vibe for right now too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think first of all, planters are what I'll do, since planters are kind of the iconic thing to make in macrame. But as soon as I realized that's what I wanted to do first, I realized I was doing yet another gardening adjacent craft. So at least I'm staying consistent.
There you go.
I was going to say that this seems to be very on brand for you at the moment.
At least for the spring 2020 brand, yes.
I feel, again, I've said it before, no rules right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
None.
It's
Just
awesome.
go with it.
I'm excited to have your blessing.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
I am the queen of crafts.
That's all I
Wait.
got, though.
Am I the manager that I want to?
Oh no! Maybe you are.
I feel like that would be so perfect. And be like, I'm going to have a conversation and be like, nope, sorry, that's just how it is. And then that would end the conversation.
Oh, just write myself a note. No.
Can I make a confession
Yes.
about writing notes to people? I once worked in a workplace with someone who loved to leave notes about mistakes that you had made.
Oh, geez.
Oh, good.
And-
That's nice.
And I got so tired of it that I would read the notes. I would take note of it, even though it was literally a mistake. Like, I wasn't intending to do it, obviously. I would read the note, and I would walk directly over to the shredder, and I would drop it in. And it was the best way for me to deal with that.
That is so satisfying.
Yeah.
That is the most directly aggressive answer to a passive aggressive happening.
Yes. That was how I got through dealing with that particular coworker.
Oh, I feel soothed just thinking about it.
I just keep thinking about lighters.
Yeah.
I didn't want to accidentally burn anything down, actually.
I mean, if you've got a metal trash can.
Oh, dear.
I say as someone who has absolutely accidentally lit their trash can on fire. Not home, but
It happens.
when I was in publishing.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
In publishing seems like the worst place to start a trash can on fire.
There's lots of
It
paper.
was a metal trash can, and it was mine.
Okay. I will start a fire in this trash can if I
It
want.
did not
Good day.
burn for more than like 2 seconds.
Okay.
It was... I dropped a match in there, but hadn't... It smoldered. It was... then I poured my water on it. It was fine.
Ugh.
I was hoping for something way more exciting there, but anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, although the fire marshal for our floor was definitely in my office, so I can only imagine the crap I would have gotten.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, there was a sprinkler system. Can you imagine a sprinkler system going off in a publishing office?
It's so the sprinklers going off is often causes so much more damage than the fire itself. If you can contain the fire quickly, it's not as bad as the sprinklers. Terrible.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, in topics of projects that potentially could get messy or dangerous, but I don't think would start a fire unless I did it really wrong.
I can figure out a way.
I'm sure I haven't looked into it deeply enough to know how flammable it is. But I've talked about, like, this was a long time ago, I talked about someone on Instagram, her Instagram name is Bookie Margoof, which is just a really great name. And she does the 100-Day Project every year. And whether it's during that time or other times, I always am inspired by her projects that she takes on. She's been doing some like painted blocks lately, but she's also the person that did these really amazing pom-poms, and she's made these little felt squares that have faces and different things on them. But she's also always trying out new mediums. That.
Yes.
And she
that.
Yeah, so lately, her newest one that she was playing around with, and she just put it in her stories, but it's like a resin-based material called Jesmonite. And
it's totally flammable.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be flammable, but I don't know how.
At least before it's hardened.
Exactly, yes.
Those fumes are definitely flammable.
So it mixes, but she also does, or she tried out, there's a way to do terrazzo with it, which, if you're not familiar, has like little bits inside of the resin to make, you may have even seen like bowls that have this, like resin or acrylic type bowls that have the little flecks inside of it. So Bookie Margoof.
No, I didn't know that's what that was called.
I don't know that that's using Jesmonite for those, but terrazzo is the term that is used for having those other bits inside of it.
Yeah.
So when I was having a conversation about this with my dad, he was like, "Oh yeah, terrazzo is when you'll see pavement like that has little glass bits in it to add that fleck to it." So
I like that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And so for this, she bought the kit and has started molding it right away and mixing up the different colors and setting up, because you can set pieces in it like with the terrazzo stuff. She's made layers of elements to create like a face inside the molded Jesmonite. And
it's a construction product.
It's used in a lot of different ways, but
no, but I mean like an industrial.
Yeah, you can use it
product.
for that, but also I saw like they've used it for like decorative elements for in houses and things like that. It's really cool, but
it's cool. It looks like the fake I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
It looks like the fake what is it called? It's the tables. Like the 1950s tables.
Yes. Almost like the linoleum, well, not linoleum ones, but linoleum, old vintage linoleum did have this kind of look to it as well.
Yeah. But it's cool.
It's very cool, but I think like, and as soon as I started talking with my family about Jesmonite, they're like, "So are you going to get a kit and try it out?" And I was like, well,
I kind of want to get a kit and try it out.
I do. It's, again, I saw kits for like making coasters and other things with it. I'm not sure how I would apply it to the types of things that I do other than to just make some for fun. So I'm not quite ready to jump into this yet. I will say that. But
I feel like fun is a perfectly good reason.
Yes, it is. I don't have the space in my life for it at this moment, so I'm resisting buying another thing to store.
Has that ever stopped any of us?
Well, you would spend somewhere, I think, between $30 to $50 for a kit. It's not.
You can make jewelry.
Yes, I could make
like
jewelry.
Pendants and stuff.
That was exactly where my mind went early on. Although I have to say, the stuff that Bookie Margoof is doing with it is so cute already, and she just started playing with it. But really, I think that was what I wanted to talk about more than even the Jesmonite itself. It's just that this person just inspires me with her experimenting with different kinds of techniques to produce sometimes things that look very similar. It's all in her style, but she digs into these things, and I don't know, I feel like this is like this week in Very Serious Crafters or something. It's just like
I like that.
Well, that's really brave to do that.
It is.
Like,
And I admire that, and I think that sometimes I am like that, but I want to be more like that. I want to be more like her is really what the entire point of this is.
I am not at all like that, I don't think.
I don't know. I think that you have elements of that in your willing to go deep on like the rabbit trail of.
Well, I go all in on a thing.
Yeah, so I think you
I'm
have
not
that.
Generally an experimental kind of.
Yeah.
I don't see a thing and think, oh, I'm just going to play with that. It's fine if I'm bad at it.
Yeah, she definitely has the follow through going for her.
Yeah. I have less of the follow.
Yeah,
that's exactly.
I think that's right. That's where I would like to have more of
I'm
that,
looking at her stuff. Wow.
Yeah,
cool.
Isn't it like she just does really, and I mean, again, follow through is the right thing there because she has completed multiple 100-day projects, which again, if you don't know, it's basically taking 100 days in a row and making or doing a thing every day for those 100 days, and she's stellar at it. She's had a few that have stalled out a little bit, but
those.
No. No.
I get busy.
But, okay, but you would also like how she documents it. You would get very into that part of it. So I encourage you to.
I'm looking at her Instagram right now and finding it to be very satisfying.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all that is. That's all. I wanted to share that.
I keep hearing about resin crafts like in the last since the beginning of the year. I think they might be because 90s. I think they might be the hot new thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
they are kitable, and everyone is looking for kits.
Yes.
Mark my words, America.
Did I show you guys the thread spool resin bracelet that I made?
Yes, it's one of my favorites of your projects. All time.
Love that thing, and it never took off.
Instagram it now.
I will.
Yeah.
Actually. But and I also did pendants with thread and pins and stuff like that in them, and I loved them. And it was at the wrong time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a weird.
Isn't that crazy?
Weird world.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have released my first latch hook pattern 2 years before when I did, I might never have gotten a book.
That's true.
Yeah.
Just from SEO.
Yep.
No, it is super strange to think about. Just
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
The world is chaos.
Oh.
This is why we do crafts.
That's right.
It's true.
So that's what has had me excited the last couple of days. How about you, Haley?
Well, I learned about a thing I had never heard of before. That is a mixture between crafting and a scavenger hunt.
That's always a good combination.
Yeah, so the co-host of my other podcast.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm going to
Natalie,
interrupt you. I just realized crafting and a scavenger hunt is like me prepping for a project. It's me like digging through all of my stuff.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, that's very.
All right.
That is accurate.
Carry on. Sorry.
That is entirely true. So the co-host of my other podcast, Natalie, brought this to my attention. I think
Haley, tell us about your other podcast while we're on the subject.
I think I told you about it
Do
last
it again.
time.
Do it again.
Okay. I have a new podcast called the Bones and Bobbins Podcast, and it's about creepy, crafty, morbid things.
Yes.
So, like the weird stuff that Victorians used to make. So yeah. Anyway.
More Haley content.
Yes. You think I'm weird here. Just in the immortal words of Jurassic Park, hold on to your butts. All right. Anyway, so letterboxing.
Yes.
Is this thing. And I guess it started on the moors. And started as this way for people to send actual mail. So I guess on Dartmoor in Devon in England, someone who was like tromping around the moors placed a bottle for visiting cards, which I assume are not dissimilar to calling cards traditionally, although I'm not entirely sure. Like a sealed bottle at this pool for people to leave their cards in and for other people to find them. And then it sort of evolved into people who were sort of into walking and exploring, basically, hiding containers in different places with postcards in them. And then whoever would find them would mail them. And so, and leave postcards for the next person to find. And sometimes they would be like self-addressed, sometimes they would be to other people, and it was just this sort of fun thing to see what happened with them. And that, it would seem, was more or less how it was until like the 70s. And then it seems to have started to spread mostly in the UK. And it became more or less what it is today, which is hidden water-safe containers. And as of now, they are containers that are hidden often in nature, but also in public places broadly. Mm-hmm. But often, like, if you're a trail hiker or something like that. But they contain logbooks. And often those logbooks are just really interesting pieces of art themselves, like collage art and stuff like that. And inside those logbooks, there are pages for stamps. And so in the letterboxing culture, you carve your own stamp, like your own personal signature stamp. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you place your signature stamp in the logbook, and then the actual box itself has its own. And so you stamp the box's stamp in your book. And so then there are all manner of, because humans like to make things complicated, there are hitchhiker boxes that have to go along with other boxes, or if you find one, you have to take it with you. And there's just and clues to boxes that are hidden in other boxes, and they're called a bunch of different things. There's different names for certain things in the UK and in America, because heaven forbid America do anything just normally.
And is that like, so I've heard of geocaching, and is that an American term? Because it's very similar. If it isn't the same,
it isn't the same thing, but it's not dissimilar. Okay. So like, there are online communities where there are clues or maps to where different boxes are located. Sometimes there are boxes that are only word of mouth clues, and that are passed between letterboxers. There are just a whole lot of, or a lot of ways that can manifest. And yeah, it's really cool. So it's basically a scavenger hunt and you go looking for someone else's art, leave your hand-carved art stamp and stamp your art with theirs and just keep going. And I just think that is so cool.
Yeah.
That sounds rad.
Yeah, that is very fun.
And I've never done it, and so it's entirely possible. It seems to me like this is a community that, just from how it's been written about, that this might be a community that would like to actually me. And that is totally fine. If you are a letterboxer and you have some input, or if I've got something wrong, please tell me and I will correct it in a future episode. But it's really cool, and I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, it is. And the stamp element, and like essentially like you're filling a passport with stamps for yourself and then for the person that made the box.
There's and some of these stamps are just so intricately carved and like beautiful, beautiful pieces of art. And a lot of the logbooks are just stunning. And so it's really cool.
I feel like Heidi Kenny of My Paper Crane and her boys, when they were younger, used to do this or something similar together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that maybe even would have been one of the first people that I heard about that from.
Yeah, it's just very cool. And it's like, wait a minute. I like mysteries and I like crafting. I do not, however, like the woods.
Yes. Now, if you were able to go to Dartmoor, it's not necessarily the woods.
Well, no, but in America.
It would involve a lot of that. Again.
And there are like rules for not accidentally killing other people. So like you aren't allowed to say, put it on a cliff.
Right.
Like there are technically not rules, but there are unwritten rules that apparently there's big drama if you do not.
That makes sense. Also, just see my previous remarks on nature.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. On one website that I went to that I will link to in the show notes, there's an entire section on safety, and it's split into two parts. And one of them is like contains personal physical safety advice, like what to do if you meet a cougar, what to do if you meet a bear, what to do if you meet someone with a knife. Like,
okay.
And like,
I'm out.
And you know how things exist for a reason?
Yes.
Generally speaking.
Exactly.
Anyway, so that is a rabbit hole I went down this week.
Nice. I approve.
Yeah, that's fun.
Mm-hmm. Except I'm not leaving the house.
Yeah.
Also, we could letterbox in my apartment.
That actually could be kind of fun.
For my husband, be like, Jeremy, I hid something in our 500 square foot apartment.
There you go.
I wonder where it is.
All right, well then, on that note, I guess we're going to wrap it up, eh?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
It is time.
Thank you to our sponsor, the Embroiderers Guild of America. Learn more at egausa.org. Thanks for listening to the Very Serious Crafts podcast. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Serious Crafts and on Facebook at Very Serious Crafts. You can also find show notes and all things Very Serious Crafts at veryseriouscrafts.com. And finally, if you're a fan of the Very Serious Crafts podcast, please leave us a 5-star review on whichever platform you use to listen to podcasts. Good ratings help us show up in recommendations, which helps more people who love crafting find us.
Yes!
Thanks.
Yeah! Hooray!